All of this is in preparation for Thursday, April 16th, 7 o'clock at B'nai Emunah, where we have the Interfaith Holocaust Commemoration. It is basically my story, my childhood, and everyone is welcome, everyone is invited. There will be music and there will be exhibits done by students in Tulsa. There will also be a candle lighting ceremony in memory of those children.
Can you talk about, as a 6-year-old, the experience of being taken from your home with your family?
All our rights were taken away, right after occupation. And then from then on, things got worse. We were not allowed to walk on sidewalks. We had to wear those yellow stars of David on our clothing so we could be identified when we were outdoors, relocated. We were always relocated to places that we didn't know about. There was no choice. You were ordered by soldiers with guns and their big dogs at their side, and then marched to what became the Lodge Ghetto, which was a dilapidated old part of town. And when I say the word ghetto, many Americans think of this being kind of bad part of town. Those were prisons. The ghettos in Nazi-occupied Europe were prisons. There was barbed wire and there were towers with guards, ready to shoot anyone who would want to leave.
Can you talk about your fears being there? Were you fearful of your life?
I felt protected by my parents, by my mother. There was no way that anyone could have imagined of what was to follow. And I was assured that this wouldn't last long, because if the world knew, they would come to our rescue. And as a matter of fact, before leaving, they and some other neighbors buried some of their prized heirlooms, small pieces, silver, whatever it was, in the courtyard, thinking that when this is over, they'll go back and claim their belongings. No one knew what was about to happen. It's a most unusual story. I was always with my mother. Only the last few years did I find out why we were not separated. I have documents of this transport. From the ghetto, we went to Auschwitz, didn't stay there long. We went through the process of having to take off our clothes, and my head was shaved, and then we went through these showers and were given these coarse striped pajama-like uniforms and wooden shoes, clogs. From there we were walked what is now known as a death march along the river Elbe, hungry, dirty, tired, sick, and those who could make it kept walking, and those who couldn't would fall or whatever and were shot on the spot. You probably know of the transports, how we were moved from one location to another in those kettle cars. And of course that was absolutely horrendous. And people can't really imagine what that was like. We were not considered human, you see, and were treated accordingly. The only way they would interact is either hit you with something, if you were lucky, and if not, a bullet would just go right. For entertainment, this is something that needs to be stressed, because after the war, during the Nuremberg trials and other trials, many of the SS, the top men, that were caught actually, said that they were soldiers following orders. Well, there were so many atrocities that they committed on their own, men and women, that nobody gave the order to. And I know as a fact, they have done these things to entertain themselves. There's no way a normal person can understand it. I thought somehow that these men and women were monsters. As a kid, I couldn't imagine them being human. But then after the war, when I got older, of course I realized they were human. They had families. This was a job they were doing. And that is really problematic. That's very troublesome because they were human like we are human, to be able to do that to others. And that is one of the reasons why I have been involved with this work. It is to commemorate and to educate what we human beings can do to other people. I don't know anything else other than to tell the story and hope that somehow next generation will be decent, kinder, less prejudiced against anybody. Because it always, whatever it is, it starts with words. So, we just have to keep on trying to educate our young people that we're all human on this little planet, and we better be not only tolerant, to me that's not enough, respect each other, whoever people are.